Good Monday evening, Sooner fans. Welcome back to Sooner Surge, podcast that tells it like it is, as we are going to discuss the OU softball team as they get two more W's today, extend that win streak to start the season 14-0, overall win streak of 17 games in a row. Wasn't the prettiest today, but it was two victories. Before we get started with this video, hit the subscribe button, join up. Appreciate it very much. Also hit the like button. Check out the Fan Stop, www.thefanstop.com for all your OU officially licensed gear. And today started off very slow for Oklahoma. You know, we talk about all the time with football with 11 a.m. kickoffs. Well, 11 a.m. softball at Love's Field, it was a slow start, and the Sooners got down early. And the biggest hit of the game, probably of the day, was Sydney Sanders' grand slam, tie that game up. And she got one hit that first game, and it was the biggest hit of the game.
Yeah, you talk about it, Jay. Oklahoma, they got down early. It was 3-0 in the first game. They were down. Audrey Lowry didn't have maybe her best day. Bowling Green, they got on her stuff early. They were even down 1-0 after the first and their second game, Jay. So you talk about an Oklahoma team in which they were down early in both games. They were able to respond, and I think that's something that we talked about after their first series of the year, is which they were able to get tested super early, get down to some teams, have to play these long extra inning games. And Cassidy Pickering, Chris Plank told them, hey, maybe you shouldn't throw to her in the next pitch.
What were they doing? That was a silly decision. You had an open base. I didn't understand why they would even give her anything close to hit.
No, and they didn't. She made them pay, and her and Ella Parker, they're the two best offensive players Oklahoma has. And they've been doing their thing all season long, and she got her walk-off hit of the season, in which her first walk-off of the season, I believe. So
yeah,
it's really impressive, Jay, in that Oklahoma, they're just able to continue to find ways to win games, being really relatively such a young team still.
Yeah, and I think I misspoke earlier when I was talking about Sanders. I said tied it up. I believe the home run gave them the lead. You
4-3
runs there. Yeah, they took the lead 4-3. But Audrey Lowry got the start, and obviously it was her worst outing of the year. I mean, she's been pretty dominant this year, and so she struggled a little bit. I think more of control was an issue with her today, but I'm not worried. I think she'll bounce back just fine. And you got to give kudos to Bowling Green. They made some outstanding defensive plays, and OU kind of struggled a little bit on that end. But Bowling Green made some unbelievable plays. When OU was hitting it hard, they would make the plays, and that's what Patty said after the game. She was like, "It's just a very frustrating day. When we did hit it hard, they made a great play, and kudos to them." But I got to bring up Sam Landry. I mean, comes in, faces 6 batters, strikes out 5. She is on a roll right now. She is just dominating. She's a dominating pitcher right now. And I think, didn't Kelly Maxwell throw out the first pitch today or something? I saw maybe he was there. But Sam Landry, man, just kudos to her. Ella Parker, another great day. I mean, you could go down the list, but you mentioned Pickering. But overall, that first game, it was a game they had to kind of fight off at the end and make plays when they needed to, and they made it when it mattered most, continue that win streak.
Yeah, and Oklahoma in the second game, Jay, they won 9-1. Once again, you see a different batting lineup. Agbayani, she leads off for this team, in which you've seen that. You've seen Abby Dayton. I'm sure we'll see other players as well. And then you see Abby Dayton. She goes from the 9-hole in the first game to the 6-hole in the second game, and Abby Dayton, she's someone maybe over these past 4 or 5 games maybe hasn't had the kind of performance she's wanted to have, especially offensively, but defensively. Abby Dayton, this is something that we've talked about several times, having that experience in center field. I know she's not Jada Coleman. No one is Jada Coleman, but on the defensive end, you can count on her to be consistent. You know what you're going to get from her. In Oklahoma, as I said, they came out with the run rule. And really, it was kind of a good bounce back game after they got down 1-0 early. Nelly Mac, she got an RBI, Cassidy Pickering as well, I believe. So you just have these players that continue to step up. And also, I believe that Maya Bland, she also got her first hit of the season.
First hit. She was like 0 for 9 on the year, got her first hit, so that was good to see. But Nellie Mac getting 2 hits, and Sydney Sanders another home run. And I love what Patty said after the game. Patty was just talking about Sydney Sanders and said she's just free right now. It's like her senior year. She said, "Let's just go for it. Let's roll. Let's go for it." Sydney Sanders says she feels very free right now, and man, she had some big hits today. The 2 home runs. And the pitching staff, Monticelli gets a start, allows 1 hit, and then Isabella Smith comes in and allows 1 hit. So 2 hits is all they allow the whole game. I will say this: this would be an interesting stat to look up. It just come to me right now, so I don't have this stat in front of me. But if you're watching this video, go check it out. Go try to find this stat, because in a doubleheader games today, they had doubleheader. When was the last time OU in a doubleheader allowed runs in the first inning both games? I mean, they trailed both games after the 1.
Yeah,
that's rare. I think to OU be trailing after 1 inning in multiple games in the same day. But it was you knew Abilene Christian wasn't going to be able to hang. That's just I was surprised Bowling Green did for that long, but you knew the bats would get going against Abilene Christian, and they did. And it's good to see some of the hitters like you mentioned Nellie Mac. I mentioned that in the video yesterday. I'd love to see her get in a groove, man, right now. Ella Parker just does Ella Parker. I mean, they just continue to get base hits and hits. So great performance overall. Another good performance on the mound from the pitchers. And here you are sitting at 17 wins in a row, dating back to last year, 14 to start the season. You got this next weekend, Jackson, a round of games, and then the next weekend's SEC play, baby.
Yeah, it's getting here quick, Jay. I mean, after really you have SEC play in the month of April, you get Oklahoma State as well. So you'll have that. But one player I think that is starting to come along that I talked about very highly yesterday was Isabella Emmerling. I think offensively, she's starting to get comfortable. She said it in her presser after yesterday's game. She's been hitting the ball hard. They just haven't been falling. Now they're starting to fall slowly. She's starting to hit some over the fence as well, Jay. So it'll be super, super key if Oklahoma can get some consistent offense out of her, because she's played, once again, a ton of softball. Abby Dayton in their next series, I wouldn't be shocked if she has an extremely great bounce back, potentially starts again in that leadoff spot. But we've seen so many different lineups, a lot of different players be used in different spots. I think we'll expect to see that. And it'll be interesting to see, Jay, by the start of SEC play, if Oklahoma decides to go with maybe a consistent lineup, or if they still are going to change it up. Because if I was to put money down, I would say they're going to continue to change it up, because that's what they've done all year long. But this is a team that's super young. They're going to have to find ways to get into the rhythm of games. There might be some big environments that they go into that might be shocked early, just because it's what happens to young players on these teams. Oklahoma, they might get down early, but this is a team that has shown the resiliency, being so young, to continue to fight back, Jay. And I think that's something I've been most impressed with, was just their resiliency and how connected they are on the defensive end of the field.
Yeah, and one thing we haven't talked about, I think we need to, is the Sooners on the base pads they were stealing bases today. I mean, Agniania, I want to say she had 4. I mean, she got caught once. I mean, so they were, I think 4 stolen bases in the first game maybe, and 3 maybe the second game. I mean, and you know what? If you go back to that first game, and last thing I want to say here is, in the last inning, Ella Parker still second. Okay, 2 out, still second. And then you have the ground ball to shortstop, and she runs almost in the path of where the ball's coming, and they get the error, gets somebody safe on first, which leads to the Pickering at bat, and then the home run. So base running was key in that game, in both games. So it's good to see him really running the bases, getting some stolen bases. Love to see it. So, but yeah, man, great performance today. I would say with wins, I wouldn't say great performance on the field, really. In that first game specifically, but it's a win, and a win is a win. It was a win. And you know what? They keep winning. That's what they do at Oklahoma and Love's Field. They keep winning. And so there you have it. Appreciate you watching this video. As always, we'll have you covered as the week goes on for OU softball and other sports as it ramps up this week with a lot going on with women's basketball, men's basketball, baseball starts another series. A lot of stuff going on this week. So appreciate you subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to you next time.